Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, July 12th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple of clarification points. Number one, this price over here you see will still be changing around, and then the candlestick you see will be moving around. That's because the market is still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame. So if you're a beginner, what that means is that each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, PLRX, an absolute monster today, and a beautiful, beautiful setup here that has taken place. And let me be very clear, when I map out this next level, I'm not trying to imply this is a great talent I have or a great discovery. I assure you, a lot of people are going to be watching this level. And I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same level and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So while there are no guarantees, my point here is that this area right here at $22, it's very plausible. It's very rational to think that if the price gets up to 22 and pushes up through it, especially if it's a high volume break, that break in and of itself could create a very, very solid amount of upwards buying pressure. So 22, like I said, is a level that I think a whole lot of people will be watching moving forward. And you got the nice movement. You got the initial surge, you got a bit of a consolidation, and then this afternoon you're now having some strength return to it. So definitely keep an eye on 22 if you like to play more so pullbacks, then an interesting pullback area and essentially bottom part of this consolidation area right down there around $18.25. But yeah, in my opinion, at least the most interesting dynamic is certainly going to be that $22 mark. Next one, MULN. Now, this is a tricky one to talk about from a presentation standpoint because it really just depends on your strategy going in. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 10 minutes, well, then yes, from that perspective, the chart looks absolutely terrible. However, if you care about more so a bigger picture point of view, then everything is still perfectly fine. That may sound bizarre given the big pullback of today, but when you consider, like I said, the bigger picture, and let's look at more specifically the lows. So you have a set of lows there, you have lows there, you have lows there, you have lows down here. And if you envision each one of these as stair steps, what do you have? Well, you still do have, again, from the big picture point of view, you still have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. So is this a good or bad looking chart? I have no idea. That's all a matter of your reference point and your, perspective and strategy going into it. So yeah, bigger pullback today, but in and of itself, the trend is still upwards. So let's see if the price can continue to build these stair steps as the week plays out. Next one, VLCN, and a very, very nice pattern here. And going back to the whole talking point of self-fulfilling prophecies, that would certainly be applied here because this pattern that I'm about to draw, once again, I'm not trying to apply some sort of special skill or some sort of secret discovery, nothing like that. A lot of people will be watching this pattern. And in my mind, that's the top part of the pattern, that general trend line right there. And then you have the bottom part of the pattern, right here around that point at $2.12. In fact, let me change that to green to represent the bullish area of the pattern. And then maybe make this all easier to see. As I always do, let's make it one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big surge right there. And then to make it even that much more visual, let's put a little hole down here for you golfers out there. And this would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So if you like to play stocks down below $10, if you like to play bull pennants, well, then here you go. This one definitely deserves to be on your watch list. Next one, AMC, and this is a very, very interesting situation here headed into Tuesday, and this will mean a bit more to those of you that have watched past watch list videos, but if you have, hopefully remember me talking about that resistance line right there, and the reason why that stands out is because it once again came into play today, specifically right there. We'll call it earlier afternoon, price got rejected from it, but the price tried again, and then maybe you see where I'm going with all this, but check it out now. The price has broken through that trend line, which brings about a very exciting question to ask. Is this the start of something bigger? Now think about the question. In order for me to even ask that, something worthwhile has to happen in the first place. For a lot of stocks out there, nothing worthwhile ever happened, so doesn't make sense to even ask that question. Is this the start of something bigger? Now, to be fair, maybe it's not. Maybe this is just a fake breakout and the price rolls right back over. But that is a two-sided coin because, well, you know what? Maybe it is. And maybe this is a breakout that's going to gain that much more momentum as the week plays out. So AMC, the trend line has been broken. But yes, is this the start of something much bigger? Let's see what happens. Next one, KSPN. Probably should have put this at a different location because we have the same exact pattern. So the whole idea of self-fulfilling prophecies once again comes into play. But let's just draw this pattern out, and hopefully you're having a little bit of a case of deja vu. So we have our resistance portion right there. We have our support area down there at about 575. Get that changed to green. And then let's make this all the same color. So we have resistance, we have support. We have the huge momentum move today. Pretty crazy to think that this thing was down around $3 and up over 100%, but we'll put our golf hold on there. So we have ourselves yet another bull pennant pattern. So nothing's guaranteed, but is it plausible? Is it valid to think that if the price can get up to the top of that pattern and get the breakout through it, that could serve as a self-fulfilling prophecy and create that much more upside buying pressure? Certainly a plausible outcome to think through. So not guaranteed, but plausible without doubt. So if you like to play those bull pennants on the stocks down below $10, then this one should definitely be on your watch list. Real quick, I wanted to pause and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online trading that I'm offering here later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to help build consistency as a trader, then certainly get signed up for the free training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying and you want to learn more about this tool and take your understanding to a whole nother level, then certainly get signed up for that free training. Next one, ITRM. And what I like about this one is the fact that it is pulling back. And that's always, in my mind, at least kind of reassuring, because at least you can eliminate the worry of, am I the sucker that's buying the top? Am I suffering from FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Am I chasing the price? No, you don't have to worry about that anymore. The people that were suffering from FOMO, they were buying there and they were buying right there. Now, just because the price is pulled back and you're not going to be suffering from FOMO, that doesn't mean that it's for sure going to be a winning trade. But my point here is at least you can alleviate that worry of, okay, am I the person that's buying the top? No, you definitely aren't. So if you do like to play pullbacks, then we have an interesting situation here. And in my mind, a very interesting support level right there at that 33-cent mark. So it's not quite there yet, but it's getting within the range. And if it comes down to that level, again, is it guaranteed to bounce? No. But is that a plausible area? Absolutely. But the main kind of attractive dynamic, at least in my mind, is the fact that this is a pullback. So it's not like you have to worry about chasing the price. So if you like to play pullbacks, if you like to play penny stocks, well, here you go. Next one, TSLA, Tesla, and brutal day on this one. I talked about this last week in this nice upwards channel and apparently jinxed it because, I mean, the price started in the upper part of the channel, not only dropped down to the bottom part of the channel, but broke through it and just continued to bleed and bleed and bleed. So yes, a very rough day for this one. And now in fact, let me just get rid of these lines here if they serve their purpose for now. But now the most interesting dynamic that myself and I'm sure a lot of other people will be watching has everything to do with that pink line right there, which on my chart denotes a very well-known, the very famous 200 period moving average, which is actually valued a little bit more than $700, but I'm just going to call it $700 being that level that a whole lot of people will be watching because it's essentially the 200 period moving average. It's a big round number, so 700 is going to be a level that everybody and their brother's uncle is going to be watching them tomorrow and wondering, can the price stay above it? So 700 is going to be that main level. If there is some sort of bounce to the upside, then the area of resistance that stands out to me is that area right there, basically a double top on the day. You can see, now I'm kind of curious, high of 716.25, high of 716.27. So quite literally on a $700 stock, there is only 2 cents that separates these two highs right here. So needless to say, if there is some sort of bounce to the upside, then 716.25 is going to be that main area of resistance. But again, $700 is going to be that interesting level of support. Next, WTRH, the uptrend continues. Let me squeeze this down and you can just see how ever since this thing came to life back here, it's just been putting in higher low after higher low, got a new breakout today. So that'll mean a bit more of those of you that watched last week's video where I talked about this area at 37 cents being a level of resistance. But this is also where the first update comes into play. This update is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closes above, you want to see them act as support. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level down there. But moving forward, 37 cents is that ideal level of support, meaning if you're to ask Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute best moving forward? That would be if the price can stay above 37 cents. Now, don't get me wrong. If the price falls below it, not the end of the world, because from the overarching standpoint, you have that 50 period moving average, keyword being moving. So it's basically like a trend line that's going to draw itself for you. So more of the story here is from the broad sense. Yes, as long as the price is above that purple line, then everything is still perfectly fine. But if you want this to just look the absolute best, then again, staying up above 37 cents would accomplish that. As far as areas of resistance, nothing fancy or complicated here. Literally just a question of where did the party finally stop today? And that was right up here at the 45-cent mark. So 45 cents will be public enemy number one headed into Tuesday. But all in all, another great way to start the week. Next one, TBLT. And I put this one on Oh, I suppose for two reasons, but the main reason was that this thing really started to come to life again the last 30 minutes. So you can see down here, green bar, not as big as these ones, but still bigger than anything else. And then you combine that with the fact that a good solid green candle forming. So yeah, is this the start of something bigger? Is this a sign of new life that's coming into it? Again, to be fair, maybe it's not. But it's certainly something that's worth watching, which is the point of a watch list. Not to just rush out and buy something, but to observe it, to watch it, and then see if it ultimately does behave in a way that catches your interest. So, like I said, that's reason number one. And then another reason is there's just a very well-defined breakout point right here at $2.62. In fact, you could call it, one of those self-fulfilling prophecy point. Actually, I lied. It's not 262, it's 261. So 261 right there, going to be that main level to watch, and no guarantees, but is it plausible to think that if the price comes up here and breaks through that level, that could get another nice surge of upwards momentum? Absolutely. So if you like to play these movements that make a nice move, consolidate out, and then potentially try to get some sort of reversal, then 261 is definitely the area to keep a close eye on. Next one, NIO, and a very, very rough day on this one, and it's now bringing the price down to a level that has quite a bit of a track record, and that is this area down here at $20.35. So you can see over the past several days, got down to that area, and once again, getting down to this area, which brings up the question, is it going to hold? What exactly is going to happen? Now, if you're sitting there saying, I think it could bounce, hey, I hear what you're saying. It's bounced there. It's bounced there. So you would not be crazy at all to think that once again it could bounce. But because there are no guarantees, that's not going to for sure happen, which is why that risk management is so important. But I can also see how people may be saying from the short side, well, you know what? I think it might fail. And if it fails, that might freak a bunch of people out because it's broken down to lows that it hasn't seen for several days. And I totally understand that philosophy too. I understand that approach. So that's where somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong. That's why you got to have that risk management. But the core point here is that 2035 is certainly going to be a very interesting level to keep an eye on. If there are any sort of bounces, then that main area that stands out to me at least is going to be right there at $21.25. But yeah, very rough day today. It's getting, like I said, within striking distance of that green line, which is the level that I think most people are going to be most curious about. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool and how it can be used to build consistency as a trader, certainly get signed up for the free training later on in the week. It'll be Thursday, July 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you'd like for me to continue to make these sorts of videos, then please help me out with 2 basic bits of feedback. Hit that like button and leave a simple comment. Say hi. Tell me what you traded today. Tell me what you're watching tomorrow. But those 2 things communicate to me that you are continuing to enjoy. And as long as I know people are continuing to enjoy, then I will continue to put in the required time and effort to create these sort of content videos for you. So again, get signed up for that free training. Hit that like button. Leave a simple comment down below. Everybody take care and have a good one.